Hey everyone, today is the 3.6 update, and with this update is going to be introducing Crow as the latest character for there. I probably will be uploading this video like the day after the first day of the update, but this is mainly just talking about the new event. So along with this event, Crow, he is a almighty sweeper. I think everyone in the community can kind of all agree that he is a supporter, amplifier, I guess, oh boy, basically a sub DPS. He kind of just scales just purely off of teammates, so he's not really, attacking him just by himself. But overall, he's actually a very fun character to use in my opinion. So you can probably just either skip him or summon for him. It's totally up to you. But he's not like a must-needed character in some cases. But he's really fun. Now, what I want to talk about is the events that has dropped to him. More specifically, Jose's Dicey Adventure. Now, to those who remember from part 1's Crossroad event, it's basically almost identical. However, the bosses are going to be very different. Now, to those who have played the Trial of Thorns, you will almost see a resemblance, because this is basically you're fighting them again. With that being said, you will be fighting the 410s, is what I would like to call them. You will be fighting Chico, or Juko, if you pronounce it like that way, Tsuchi, Komo, and Biyasha. Apologies for butchering their names. This is just how I see them or pronounce them. Other than that, how this works is that you will be going in 4 sections, or should I say 4 stages of these events. First one, you'll be fighting just one shadow, and then every time you go to stage 2, stage 3, you'll be fighting all 3. Now on stage 4, that's when it comes a very difficult task, because you'll be fighting all 4 at once for this fight. Now, before I do that, for some people who may not know exactly what to do with this event or how it functions, there is a question tab on the very middle top left-ish, to where it gives you like a basically rundown description of what this event is. Other than that, here's how would I kind of describe it. So in order to go through each floor, you need to roll a dice. Now, a dice is actually given to you almost in every login. I think you get 1 yellow dice and then 5 blue ones every login. I could be wrong. Do not take this. No, don't call my word for it. But I think it's like that. It's either 5 blue dices or 3. But every update. Excuse me, not update. Every daily just rotation, like login, you will be given those. However, you can still earn more by doing the current story collab, or just the story event, and doing the missions and doing the boss missions for it. You will be given 2 types of dices. You'll be getting a yellow loaded dice, to where you can choose any space you want on the board, up to 1 or 8 spaces. Now for the blue ones, it's a blue random die. It's going to just randomly just throw a chance at you, to where it's going to go through 1 through 8 just by random, whatever the game does. Now how this could function, how does this function, is that these dices are primarily only useful through stages 1 through 3. On stage 4 is completely different. Now, I would most likely say save the yellow dices as best as possible, because when you do use these dices, again, you can use any specific spaces you want. You can use these to specifically get like a bigger buff than you normally would, or grant just flowers. Now, every space from stages 1 through 3, you're given passive buffs to the entire team before starting the fight. You'll be collecting these until you reach to the very end. Now, when you do that, you'll be fighting them with the passives you have acquired, and then rinse and repeat for every next 2 stages. Now, for stage 4, it changes. Now, you will be given a 5 yellow loaded dices, only 5, and then you will have an unlimited number of blue dices. Now, you can reset this for specifically for stage 4 and still get refunded that 1 yellow dice And no, what's it, one yellow dice? No, you will get refunded 5 yellow dices, excuse me, and then you still have the unlimited one. Now, if you do reset your floor on either stage 1, 2, or 3, you will not be refunded. Those will be lost, as in the instructions for the event page, the event that the question. When you click on the question and it just tells you whatnot, it specifically tells you you will not be refunded with those. But for stage 4, you will. Now, to get into the 4 10s, again, if you recall what these 10s do, they have literally almost the same unique passive skill carried over from the Trial of Thorns. Jukuten, God, I'm so butchering these names. So Juko, he has to play the Sanctuary. What that literally does is that he'll shield an ally of his not of his choosing, but who has the lowest HP ratio. Zuchi, growth, he has growth for all things. Now for this one, he will buff every shadow that's on the field, and then he will continuously do it every turn once it's procced. Kumo, he has the skill of Eye of Heaven. Now what that does is that he will specifically mark a Phantom Thief, and then he will deal more damage than usual. So say for instance, if he marks a target that's on your field and then he does an AoE, everyone's gonna get hit with that AoE, like the same damage ratio, but whoever is marked is going to get more of the damage dealt to them, which is kind of scary in some cases. So it's best to bring a healer or a guardian with you. However, he actually spawns a shadow. It's like I forgot what the actual shadow is called, but it shows in the description. Now, if you do defeat that shadow, you can actually just counter that skill to where you'll be, I think, safe for at least like 2 turns. But that's like a good way to counter it. And then Bisha, he inflicts a skill to any shadow who has the lowest HP ratio to make his affinities to go to drain. Again, it's just like the last update of the Trial of Thorns when fighting him. Now, for this one, I would like to say a sweeper is most valuable here instead of an assassin. However, using assassins can work, but I find it to where you can, I don't know how to say this. When you use an assassin, you can use an assassin, but there's 2 phases to this fight of how I see this. First phase is fighting 4 of the 10s just at their full best, basically just trying to get rid of them at once. That's literally all I can say, which is why I say bring in your best sweeper to this fight, to where you can just clear them out just at once. However, for the second phase, if you fail to eliminate all the shadows, I would say this second phase, me personally, I would call this a desperation phase. If you leave one shadow by themselves, they will sacrifice themselves and turn into Asura, which is a extremely hard fight. Depending on if you are not like if your team is like kind of struggling with damage and probably just defensive wise, this is going to be very difficult for you. Through this desperation phase, how I like to call it, when he transformed into Asura, he combines all of the passive abilities, the skills from all 4 of the 10s, and combines them to his own, which is why he can inflict growth for all things. When he does that, it continuously amplifies his attack and defense depending on which he procs every turn. He's able to heal himself a lot, which is extremely bad. And then he has the chance to make his affinities to drain, which is honestly very scary if your team is literally not built for damage or just defense wise. Other than that, I do think it's best to have a sweeper on the team other than assassin, because if you use assassin, you basically will be prolonging the fight to where you are forced to face Asura regardless of how much damage you do. Now, depending on how much damage you do for your assassin, it may not be bad, but it all depends on how the situation, falls on you. Other than that, Here's a couple of teams well, not couple, just probably like 2 or 3 I actually had fun using. It's going to be full cycle team with Haru, and then the other team is going to be Fire, which is Yao Ling, and then the other one is honestly one of my favorites so far, which I think is probably the best team you can use for Crow specifically, is the Almighty with the twins. Now, using a specific blade, I would use the Plasma Blade that just released strictly for Crow and the twins, since they have the Almighty role. If not, you can use EX Machina just to buff up the team's overall stats. I mean, other than that, this is a couple of runs I've used for Crow and the twins, and then also using a run to where with just Violet and seeing how both of them comparison. Other than that, I think both ways works, but I think Sweeper is like fairly the most better way to handle this fight. Again, depending on how your team is structured, you may struggle with this if you are not experienced with this kind of event like last time, but honestly, not too terrible. I recommend using Cherish, Minami if you have her. Other than that, yeah, take care.
ビンフット。威勢はいい。
すぐに排除します。制裁の時間だ。
ロビンフット。